During the last couple months, I've been busy filming and editing corporate videos and ended up making a small studio on a shoestring budget in my office. The final addition was to add a green screen and allow me to drop in virtual backdrops like the one you see now, instead of moving the camera and lights around. While setting up a basic green screen is pretty easy, getting the lighting right is a lot harder than you would think. So I thought this would be a good time to show you how I put this together. I'm using my Canon 70D as a video camera and shooting through a Glide Gear Teleprompter Kit for the iPad. The Teleprompter Kit is basically a 70-30 beam splitter glass that let me look directly into the camera while reading the text being reflected from an app on my iPad. I really can't tell you how much difference this makes in a video. Seriously, as viewers, we're very used to having someone in a video looking directly at us. So when we see someone reading from a script below or off the screen, we immediately notice. It's like having a conversation where somebody's looking over your shoulder. It really distracts the view. So stepping back a little bit, I'm using a Limo Studio 6x9 green muslin backdrop stretched on a 10-foot backdrop stand. And okay, I'll admit, I used the cheapest stand I could get. So in very short order, I found out what kind of problems you have when you use a cheap stand. So first off, you need to stretch the backdrop to keep any wrinkles from showing. Otherwise, the wrinkles will show up when you try to replace the green screen with a background. So as soon as I tried to pull in the sides to stretch the muslin, the legs of the stand just pulled inward, and now I'm left with a wrinkly backdrop and a wobbly stand. So I cheated. I went to Lowe's and got a piece of 1x2 molding and then cut it to length to fit in between the poles and held it in place with a couple of the clips that were supposed to be used for the backdrop. And voila, now I can stretch the backdrop and the poles stay put. I also went cheap on the clips. Instead of spending a lot of money on clips and straps, elastic and whatnot, I just went to Staples and got a bag of mini binder clips and a bag of rubber bands. And I put the rubber bands through the clips, and now I have a whole bunch of clips I can do with whatever I need to. So lighting the backdrop turned out to be difficult. The human eye is really good at ignoring subtle differences in brightness, but when you're trying to key out a specific color, you find out really quickly that the entire backdrop needs to be as uniformly lit as possible. You can't just throw a light on it or expect ambient light to do it. It needs to be even lighting. There are all kinds of really expensive lighting rigs for this, but if you want even lighting on the cheap, you really can't do it much better than this. This is a 4-foot HyperSelect LED shop light that says it is a crystal white glow with a color temperature of 5000 K. This is a slick little unit, it's lightweight, the LEDs are permanently part of the fixture so there's no tubes to break. It's only about 4 inches wide and an inch and a half deep. These things are supposed to be hung from a ceiling in a garage, but I bolted them onto a couple of mic stands. Turns out attaching the lights to the mic stands makes for a very sturdy yet portable fixture. When testing the lighting on the backdrop, I found that I can just put one on either side facing inward, and it works perfectly. So right now I'm standing about 3 feet in front of the backdrop, far enough that my shadow doesn't fall on it, and I'm not having green reflecting off of me. In front of me, I have a couple 800-watt soft boxes to light up my face, as well as a small LED panel. I set these up differently every time, but generally I like to have one that's a little closer and higher on one side, and then the other a little further back on the other side to fill in the shadows. The rest of the magic is really in editing. I'm using Adobe Premiere and its built-in Ultra Key tool to mask out the green screen. So that's it. I've told you all my secrets. Check out the links below the video description to go directly to the Amazon store and see everything that I've talked about here. And if you've been struggling with how to start, I hope this has helped you.